What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast, and we have such a treat tonight. We have an interview with the strong, fearless, beautiful rookie, female rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year, rookie of every year.
In our hearts. The lovely Olivia Kaiser. First of all, thank you for having us, or for us having you. Thank you for coming onto our podcast. This is our first time actually having somebody, so I'm so thrilled. The way this happened today was like freaking amazing, with just like our messaging back and forth and the way it worked out. So thank you so much for coming on.
It's obviously a crazy moment and it's definitely part of my story, but I'm like, I'm so much more than just like getting hit in the face. I hope that this is not what people remember me by, but I mean, hey, I survived, so we're good.
So when I was watching or listening to the Challenge podcast this morning, you had said that you'd broken your face in 5 different places. Like, holy crap, that's insane.
Yes, obviously the show kind of ends on a cliffhanger, so I didn't confirm my face breaking, but I did break it in 5 places. I broke it from my skull to my hairline, behind my eyeball, which is like your orbital bone, optical bone, whatever. And so that just caused me to have blurry vision for like 2 months. And then I broke the bridge of my nose as well as like right above my nose. So yeah, it was definitely that I broke my nose. Like I knew instantly it was just not good. I felt my nose break. I literally felt it. So I knew it was broken, but I just didn't want to believe it. I was like, put a Band-Aid on it. I'm not stopping. And honestly, if they let me, I would, if I could clean up and like collect myself for a couple hours, I would have kept going if I could.
As a viewer, just this whole episode with all of the injuries that you experienced, I mean, it was so inspiring, and we loved that no quit in you. We just absolutely love that no quit in you. Very inspiring. I mean, that's some badass stuff. Now, speaking of injuries, is this like the most awful injury you've had? Have you had other injuries in life, like sports, anything, or this is the cake? This takes the cake.
This takes the cake. Yeah, for sure. I actually like would always pride myself on like, I've never broken a bone, and I played contact sports my whole life. So I was like, I'm so lucky. Right. So yeah, this is definitely the worst. And as you saw, the ball was just like, I mean, an inch away from my eye on both sides. Or, you know, there's all the time about people dying from getting hit in the head, you know, whether it's you're getting hit straight in the forehead or like in the temple. I don't know. And it's crazy because when I was in my body, I didn't know how bad it looked or what happened really. So watching it back, it's almost more like earth shattering, where I'm like, whoa, like I could have really gotten messed up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the question that I was trying to get to, was like, how did that happen come back to you? Was it the way you held it because of your hand, or did it hit something and come back?
Yeah, so it definitely was my finger. When you shoot a slingshot, you typically would shoot with your middle finger. At least that's what I would do, because it's just, that's centered, right? And I'm not left-handed. And also I was trying to rush, you know, we were trying to catch up with Johnny and Nani. So I was just like, I was chilling. I could, you know, take my time with my left hand maybe and try to shoot or whatever, but I was trying to rush. So I was just starting at this point just to fling balls as fast as I could. But then I remember, you know, obviously Horacio is competitive. So he's like, come on, hurry up. And then I was just like, and kind of like Nani, I was like, I can't work off this energy. So, and it wasn't his fault, but like, you know, I wanted to prove to him I was good enough to be there with him. So I was like, let me hurry, let me rush. And I saw it as I pulled the slingshot back. I saw the corner of my eye that the rubber was a little bit twisted, and I was gonna adjust it, but it was too late and I already let go of it. And I mean, obviously I saw how fast it came back and hit me. It was just like, the sound is crazy. I can't even believe that's me.
It's awful. And I mean, I covered my eyes. I had to rewind it and be like, I can't believe this just happened. And I covered my eyes a second time, even though it was going to happen. But you held it like a great champ. There's no doubt about that. The way you did everything, like, but then you still were like,
honestly,
go on. Yeah.
Sorry. No, every time I watch it, it literally gets worse and worse. I don't know why. It's like, I can't watch it because
but you kept saying, I'm going to go, I'm going to compete. And then the only thing is like, you're like, is my nose straight? Like, of course everyone's going to ask, is my nose straight? They're worried about it. But like, what was the thing? Like, hey, Horacio, Is my nose straight? Did you think it was going to be like left, right? What was the problem?
I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't hear the last thing you just said, but
Oh, if you thought your nose was going to be left or right or whatever.
oh yeah. And it's funny because in the house though, I would always like, so Mariah on the show was gonna get a nose job after the show because her breathing, whatever, and I was like, oh, I want one too, like thinking I want one. And then the joke became when I was with everyone in the hotel room after everything was said and done, everyone's like, well, you wanted that nose job, Liv, now they're paying for it. And I'm like,
you're like, not like that.
no. And it's crazy, like I talked about this on the podcast as well, on the challenge podcast, but now I actually don't want a nose job at all. And now I kind of like, in a weird sick way, I've kind of come to terms with like, I'm perfect the way I am. Like, it was a very big awakening for me because I did put a lot on my looks just in my life in general, and this show really did change my mindset of like, I'm good enough to be with someone because of who I am and not because of what I look like, because I could have gotten really messed up forever and looked crazy, and like, all I have is my personality, so you better like it. So I mean, I think it made me reconnect with my soul, and it's kind of cheesy, but that's my truth. And I'm actually, in a weird way, like I said, like I always tell everyone I'm the luckiest girl in the world, always. And then this happened, and I'm like, but I really think in a sick way I am lucky because it changed who I am, and as my person, as a character, I mean, everything. So yeah,
I love that, and I love that outlook because it would be so easy to be like, why me? That sucked. My life is ruined. Because it's terrifying.
I mean, I was like, this is happening to me. I mean, I had my moment of being like feeling sad for myself,
Yeah, I mean,
that's human nature.
Yeah. But I felt more bad for Horacio, especially when I left to the hospital. I never saw what he did, and to see him cry like that last night, I just was just like, oh my God, like he wanted to do it for us. And honestly, in a selfish way, I'm like, it was ride or dies. Just because I'm dying, he's gonna ride. Like, I wish that they did something where he could have just went, and maybe I could have come. Let's be honest, I would not be able to come back. But in my head, I would like,
and we actually got asked that by one of our followers. She said, she was very upset that Horacio wasn't allowed to compete by himself, especially since the premise earlier in the show was, you live or die by your ride or die. So if they're still in the game, then you're good. So do you think that he should have been able to do the rest of it without you?
I want to say yes, but if I was another team and that happened to Anissa and Jordan got to compete by himself, as a star athlete, I would definitely be a little salty about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's just my truth. Like, I probably would. So I don't think when I was in the final with, I know them all personally, and honestly, they would have been all for it. I think they would have wanted it because they really did care about us as competitors and just as people. But yeah, I don't know. I wish he could have. I don't know. It just, there's no winning with the situation, right?
Right.
It's just like,
Right.
damn.
I think that's a good segue into getting outside of just this episode. You guys being rookies. Of course, the producers are not going to let him go without you. I mean, let's go with that, okay? But how do you feel, you and Horacio, feel that you have put multiple veterans now going to all-stars because you guys are so good as rookies. Now they don't want to compete anymore with you guys. I mean, they're going to go out to I don't want to say the pasture, but you guys were the best rookies, seriously. And I've been watching this for a very long time. You guys are now moving them to be like, we don't want to do this anymore. So
it's true.
That's actually interesting. Well, so obviously in the I wish that they would make finals like 3 hours because so much happened. But even during the fish chugging drink, we got sabotaged, right? And I kept saying, "Oh yeah, we're rookies, that's why we got sabotaged," and and everyone just kept being like, "Liv, like no, like I think they really thought you guys were like a threat, like and I was like, damn, like maybe and I know Horacio is, but I can't help but to be like, I am the weaker teammate in certain aspects, so I was just like, maybe they think I'm going to be like the layup of our team, so they're not as worried. But then everyone was just like, no, Liv, like you would have just done fine,
I'm sorry. There's no way. At that point, when it comes down to the final, it's not about like weak link because they're rookies or whatever else. No, not at all. It is cutthroat. And I guess we're going to find out maybe with Devin and Johnny, whatever deal they made or whatever else when it comes down to, but there's no way at all that I, who's watched every single one of them, and Sarah herself thought that it was because you guys were just rookies, that they were just trying to do that layup. That's not true.
Yeah. And that's that's even what they said at some point. But whatever, either way, we got sabotaged just over and over. I mean, so we actually drank 6 pints of that fish slop, whatever, which by the way was disgusting. It was like gravy, like ranch, salt, fish. Like it smelled like the bottom of when you're like a little lazy and you don't take your trash out when you should have, and then there's a little dumpster juice on the bottom of it. I don't do that, but you know. It was so bad. Oh my. And then there was fish bones in it, like real fish bones.
Oh no.
And I was like picking them out of my teeth. I actually get PTSD from it. So it was the worst. I don't even know how they concocted this, but anyways, Devin and Tori, I think, drank 1. Don't quote me on that, but I think they only had 1. And then Johnny and Nani had like 3. And then I think Anise and Jordan had 2. We had 6. And the amount of salt in them, when you're running and sweating, like I was so dehydrated, like my fingers were turning white, like my finger was messed up, so it was like bleeding extra because I guess I don't know why, but it was. And then we go to the slingshot, and I get 2 extra golf balls, and then I sabotage myself. So,
how was your finger, by the way?
I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like calloused over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's good. It actually still hurts. Like when I touch it, like it's not excruciating, but it kind of feels weird. It's kind of like when you break a bone, maybe you always are a little bit extra safe around it or whatever. It kind of hurts. But I'm lucky that it didn't make it worse, because it's just crazy. They're like, you could lose a finger. I'm like, say what? I mean, it was bad because also like we were around so much dirt and like infections, so that's why and actually even when I was walking up to the slingshot, I was kind of whimpering a little bit, and that's when Johnny had his confessional say, Olivia is realizing what a final is. And I was just like, boy, it was just because they made me go to one of the medical tents and get deep cleaned, and they were scrubbing it with a scrub brush and opening it and pouring stuff in it. And that's when I don't cry often, not even when I got hit in the face with a golf ball, like I was in shock, but still I'm not a crier really. So even in my confessionals, I'm like holding back tears, which is also another thing I'm learning, to be more emotional, and it's okay to be vulnerable, learning that. But I was crying because it hurt so bad when they were pouring the antiseptic in my cut. I was I was screaming, and it was crazy. I've never felt a pain like that ever. And so when I was walking to the slingshot, I saw them, and I just got a little defeated. I was like, Paul, I was like, no, like, bro, like I'm screwed. So
well, and I mean, the finger looked freaking awful. I mean, it looked awful, and so it's like, if that was all you had to deal with, that was enough. That was already like so much, and then this on top of it. I mean.
Someone had the audacity to write me a message and be like, to type under the challenge page saying, you guys know this reality TV, it's scripted. Like everything's on purpose. Like you really think she would get hurt? I'm like, I scripted. Okay, yeah, I definitely planned this for myself. But yeah, no, I mean, the finger was bad enough. Like as the show goes on, I don't know exactly what happened in the final too much, but like we're going to obviously be around like dirt, water, whatever it may be. And like if I was to swim with an open cut, like that water in Argentina is, by the way, dirty as hell. Everyone that got in the water got sick after. Which,
oh no.
Yeah, it was actually crazy. So every time we saw a water challenge, we're like, cool, we're gonna get sick for like 3 days after. Our throats were sore. It's crazy. I'm like, that's not normal. So I was like, if this finger goes into the water, it's gonna get infected. And that's actually why they, now knowing that there could be something along the way, they wanted to make sure my finger was really wrapped up, and they put like finger condoms on it and stuff just in case like we were gonna deal with anything else. So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, let's Phil talk more about this game here that's going on. I did not know the background of Horacio and you. So down to GCU 2014. Is that How does that come from?
Yeah, so he went to GCU in Arizona, and he usually just hangs out with soccer friends. I mean, he's not, the way I know him, okay, on the show, it's so funny. He definitely is that person. But he also, in his spare time, is very quiet in the corner. So I just know him a little bit differently, I guess, than what I see him on the show. But he's kind of shy. He's very quiet. He likes to be he will sit in the corner with like orange juice. He loves juices. So he doesn't drink alcohol. So he like will sit back. So he's with the soccer friends. He's just sitting down, and I'm like, I was like dancing on tables, like, you know, it's 2014. I was young. So I still do that though, but it's fine. But yeah, so I was like hanging out with him, or I was hanging out with his friends, and because they were cute, because they're all soccer players, and I was like, hey,
Right.
And then he wasn't really doing much, and I was just like, I thought he was in a bad mood or something, and I'm always someone that likes to see people happy, so I was just like, what's wrong? Like asking him whatever, and he's just like, no, I don't drink. And then we started talking for a little bit, just because like that was foreign to me, because no one I knew that was that age didn't do that. So
Right.
we talked a little bit, and then we just, I think social media added, and then went about our lives. But then like we'd all like, even though we didn't drink, he still liked to go to the clubs. That's where we met, the clubs. So, and then we would just kind of go out with the friend groups and stuff like that. So we were like casual friends, I'll say. But we also stayed in touch. And at the time, we only had like maybe, he had like 100 followers probably, and I had 2,000 or something. Like it was like normal followers. So you follow people's lives a little closer than now. I can't do that now. You know what I mean? But
Right.
back then I could do it. So we were very in front of each other's face all the time. And then I went on Love Island, and he went on his show. And then I think he saw that I was on Love Island because it was getting posted around. He didn't really post on his show. He actually deleted. He didn't have an Instagram for his show. That's why he had no followers, actually. Yeah, I was like, you did so good on your show. Like, what's going on with that? And he's like, oh, I deleted. He's like, I deleted my Instagram. This boy does not care about social media at all. He's so like, he's honestly such a breath of fresh
An
air.
old soul.
He is. But I've coached him since then. I'm like, make your bag. Come on. But yeah, so he didn't have social media, but then he made one after his show. And then he saw that I was on Love Island. And then he's like, oh my gosh, wow, we can relate because we're both on a reality show. And it's crazy because we came from a small town, even though he's from El Paso, but still like coming from, and I'm from Alaska, but being in Arizona and making it to reality TV was just crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then so we connected with that. And then I got introduced to my manager. He got introduced to his manager by someone, or my manager by someone else. And then Love Island, I think I was doing a Q&A, and people were like, I want you to go on the challenge. I want you to go on the challenge, like in my Q&As. And I was always like peeping it and reposting. So I'm like, challenge, like I would love to, you know? And then I think he saw that, and then he was just like, hey, like I got approached about the challenge. I was like, really? And then I didn't hear anything. And then I finally did hear something. And yeah, we decided to, you know, be ride or die, because we both don't really have like, I don't have a guy friend that's just a guy friend. Like it's never worked for me that way. Like I try to have guys that are friends, and they always just want more or cross the line or whatever. So he's someone that I actually genuinely respect, and respects me back fully. And I felt comfortable going on a show with him. Because if it was female ride or die, I would obviously have my sister or someone, like, you know, someone I'm like, my ride or die. But he's the closest guy that I had.
That's a good thing, that the guy who comes across as a genuine human being, and don't get me wrong, he seriously sounds like a genuine human being.
Oh, for sure.
That he's that way overall.
No, he just so he watched the show for the first time. I got to preview it because I was doing a podcast for the challenge, and he didn't see it, so he watched it for the first time last night. And the third party is so different than being in it, because in the moment you're in survival mode, you're in shock, you have so many feelings, because we worked so hard. Like even just being in the house, I mean, we're on every second of every day in that house. So even though we see our episodes, like we're on all the time, like always, like, you know, looking behind. It's exhausting. It's so exhausting. And so he was really been out of shape, obviously, about getting DQ'd. And I think last night when he watched it, he saw how bad because he was behind me. He didn't see how bad it was, I think. Mm-hmm. I think him seeing it for the first time, me getting hurt, he was like mortified. And he texted me this like long thing, just like how much he loves me and respects me, and that I'm a beast, just hyping me up. And he's like, I texted him, I was like, I'm so sorry again. He's like, don't ever say sorry to me ever again. Like he's the best. And I really pray to God he never changes. Like
I think both you two are really, really good and the best together. And I think you guys will keep doing things. But like, so he was on Bananas podcast
a couple weeks ago.
Last week. I'm assuming you're next.
I just filmed with him.
Hey,
earlier today.
All right, yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
Because he didn't have one today.
yeah.
And it's funny because me and Johnny got really close at the end of the season because I lost Nelson, right? And he lost Mariah. It's so weird. I can actually finally talk about this. It's so freeing. I'm so excited. And he lost Mariah, and everyone else was kind of either coupled up or just doing, we kind of were like lost puppies at this point. And so we got really close, and we just have a lot of respect for each other, even though I can't stand him because sometimes he just drives me crazy. Because this interview today, he knows what he can do to me, basically. He literally wanted all the tea. I mean, I'm scared of my interview to come out. But yeah, it's gonna be
Ooh.
That's
But
good.
I did hear that Horacio was on it because he played a clip of what Horacio said and wanted wanted to know my take on certain things. I'm not gonna obviously talk about it yet because it hasn't come out. But so yeah, I do know that.
No, I think Horacio came off the exact same.
Such a gentleman.
All the great things or whatever else. But let's talk about you though. As a rookie, going in, we can talk about both of you. Like I still can't give you enough flowers about like what a great rookie season you guys had. You and Horacio. Like it's incredible. It really is. And the only thing that held you back was that they told you, the executive producer had to come in and tell Horacio that it's not going to happen anymore. You were in the ambulance saying like, I'll be back. And he's like, yep, we're going to do this. I'll do whatever else. Now, no, okay. But like the whole thing, like, is just that you guys you're in the ambulance and he's there. You guys are still like, we can do this. We can still do it. You were coming back, right? You thought you were.
Oh, I was sure I was coming back. Like, I knew that my face was broken because I felt it. And actually, I did pop my nose like back into place a little bit because it freaked me out that it was, I could feel something. I got freaked out, and my instinct was to push it back. And I think that's why I started bleeding.
Remember that?
No, about Horacio and you and everything else, like, and going back to like the opportunity of coming back to the challenge, because I mean, there's no doubt about it. You guys are going to be coming back and everything. And like I said, what was great about your guys' relationship is how much he still thought you were going to go on, and you thought you were going to go on, even though you were in an ambulance. So like, you didn't get the TJ goodbye.
Oh no.
I know.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And that's the thing, we all know you're getting it. You're like, we will see you soon. When you get the TJ goodbye,
Yeah, sure, we'll see
that's
you
something
again.
else. Yeah, and he's off, like with Devin making sure they're traveling the path, but you didn't get the TJ goodbye, neither did Horacio.
Oh,
that's great. That's great.
So he wasn't there when your accident happened. TJ. Was TJ there when your accident happened?
No, he just away on his little ATV, so he had to come all the way back. So I think Horacio was standing there. He told me for
he did tell him, yeah,
about an hour or something like that.
Oh gosh.
And
he
didn't have. Yeah, and he's like, I was just standing there, and I was just like, what? But now seeing it, I'm like, dude, he was just like standing there defeated, and then he just walks away and barely can talk to Anissa. Anissa and me got really close on the show as well, so she knows I would never quit. So when she saw me not there, she knew instantly. Like,
there's just sorry, Olivia. There's just a couple things I want to say, and then Sarah, you say something. There's a couple things. One, I appreciated how great you were during the entire challenge, but
Oh my God, yes.
Your episode last night was more like when you're like, oh, my dad would be so proud. My dad was so proud. And being somebody who like has a daughter, I was like, I can't believe I didn't let my daughter watch the challenge season with me to watch you. That's one thing. That's it. That was one thing. And I'm not somebody that gets emotional at all.
It's me. I'm always emotional.
She's always emotional about everything. But when you two, Horacio, were talking during the ambulance, and then he was like upset, I was like, I can't believe I'm getting upset over this. I really don't get upset about anybody's elimination or whatever else at all. Maybe bananas every once in a while. I'm a bananas fan. Yeah. But yeah. But I really, your guys' relationship and
So
watching
sweet.
it go from like, the mini challenge to splitting teams to coming back, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is the ending of it. And it's the only time I really got emotional over this entire show. So there's two things you did for me. One, that I'm like, I want my daughter to watch this. I want that. I do have that relationship, but I want her to see what you say about your father. And then to have a friend like that, a ride or die, to be like, I'm going to be back, even though your nose is blown up. Sorry. But, and be like, I'm going to be back.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Your hair looks great.
Yeah. It was a great, not the best episode you want, but it's the episode that you guys are going to be for years. You're going to have that 20-year career.
Mm-hmm. It was moving.
It's crazy. I like you said, I actually don't get emotional either. I don't know like why. I just don't cry easily. Like I kind of make fun of things. Even now I kind of make fun of me getting hit in the face. But watching it, it didn't feel like it was me. I feel like it was someone else almost. So I got emotional watching myself in Horacio more than I lived it, if that makes sense. And I've had so many people send me their live reactions, the episode, or they're crying, their kids are crying. And I just spent all night just crying, and I don't cry usually either. So I was just like, the amount of love is insane. I didn't really expect it, to be honest. On Love Island, it was just, I don't know if you guys watch Love Island. If you haven't,
because I'm a fan of yours now, I watched your season.
Oh my God. It was don't. It's just, but I feel like on Love Island, I wasn't being able to express myself as a person fully because the purpose was, it just felt forced. And in the moment, it didn't really feel forced. It felt like this was normal. But now looking back, I'm like, that's not what I would ever do again. But the challenge, it was awesome because I got to be myself fully. There was no expectations or pressure for me to be anything other than me. And that was really amazing. So whereas Love Island, I definitely had some serious stands. America did vote for me to win, I feel like the challenge is just, I have not had, honestly, like one bad comment. Like, well, knock on wood. I have not had anything but love. And so that's why I got so emotional last night. Cause I was like, dude, I do not deserve this. And then I caught myself being like, no, like Olivia, like do deserve this. Like, you're good enough. And that just goes back to me and like even Love Island, of me having a conversation with my mom on Love Island, being like, Mom, like, and she's like, you're not broken, Olivia, you're good enough. And I'm like, okay. Actually, that's crazy. On Love Island, I had a conversation with my mom, and on the challenge, I talked about my dad. Yeah, I just actually thought of that.
Interesting. So if you do a different show or offshoot, it'll be like talking to your sisters and brother, right? It'll be siblings.
My dream would be Bloodlines and bring my sister. She's a beast, and I actually would be scared to go against. Like, I would not want to go against her. I would love Bloodlines. I think it's so freaking awesome. But
oh my God, that would be freaking. We loved Bloodlines.
Yeah, you got to get in good with the producers. All right. So now this is a different segue. All right. Now this is maybe hearsay, but Bananas had Horacio on, and after Nelly threw you in and you came back, Bananas says that he told you like, hey, ease us in a little bit. Don't forgive him so much. This is good for production. What's the story there?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing on TV. I don't know how to do anything but be 1,000,000% myself. Maybe going forward, now that I'm not going to be a rookie, and maybe I do know this. Now not being a rookie, if I was to go to another season, there's definitely going to be some more conflicts because I'm going to take things personally. I didn't take anything personally this season because I can't. But if someone that I'm really close to, I talk to like at least 3 or 4 girls on the outside world, and we're now very, very close. And if they were to throw me in, I still know it's a game, right? But I would take it a little bit more personally. So I think as the seasons go on and I become on more seasons, there'll be a little bit more for production to work with, right? But at this point, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, be like fake mad at him, because technically I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. He was very honest with me. I was very honest with him. I actually, even when he picked Fessy over me, I knew he was going to do that. And dare I say, I kind of gave him the okay and encouraged it. He would have picked me 100% if I wasn't okay with it. I know that. But I didn't want to be responsible for, I know what Fessy did to him now. By the way, I didn't watch the seasons really before. Should have done that. But I didn't want, first of all, I wanted Nelson to look like the bigger person because I wanted, I'm always someone when I'm with someone, I want my man to be like, manly and like smarter, better, bigger. Like I want them to like do the best, right? And so I was like, this is gonna make you a better person if you don't do what he does, right? So because you guys forgave each other, you gotta go through with that forgiveness because you meant it at the time. Well, you need to continue to mean it. So I think since you guys had a longer friendship, I think that I wouldn't blame you if you chose him. But like I said, if I had a fit about it before elimination, he would have chose me. I also didn't want to be picked over Fessy because I didn't want blood on my hands if Nelson and Fessy became enemies again because of me, if me and Nelson didn't stay together.
And you have never played this game before.
I never have. I'm telling you.
You guys were great.
I didn't want any blood. Listen, I fall in love. Well, no. I like to be in relationships. I'm someone that likes to have like companionship. I just love it. I love the banter and this and that. And there's other things that happened on the show. Like I actually had a thing with someone before Nelson.
Do they happen to have the same name as my co-host?
Jay? No. What?
Maybe.
You don't have to say it.
I'm gonna plead the fifth. I'm gonna plead the fifth, but maybe. And things transpired in a certain type of way, and I was like, okay, I'm out. And then so I like companionship, and I think that Nelson is the type of guy that falls really hard. And I didn't know that because I didn't watch his past seasons, and I didn't know his history with like dating. And yeah, I'm happy that he didn't pick me because now we're not together, and I would have felt that's like exactly what I was thinking long term. Like we're not together, and I would have felt bad if he ruined a friendship with Fessy and Fessy got sent home over some girl he met on the challenge. I don't know. But
no, it makes sense.
You're
but
such a good person. God bless you.
I mean,
although you were upset about things intrinsically, you didn't say it extrinsically. You didn't go out to tell everyone and yell at anyone and be like, I can't believe that. I mean, you guys were throwing the challenge so many times. I mean, the gauntlet or whatever, the zone so many times. Like, you never got upset. You never came back in the house with double middle fingers and say, now you're going to get it. You guys took it with stride and you made the right relationships. And on top of it, it's not even like it wasn't politicking. It wasn't a social game. You guys did the right things. You made relationships, genuine relationships, and then you guys shined when you needed to. It was an interesting thing. It was a great, great thing. Mm-hmm. And there's never been a rookie team ever to do this.
No. I mean, dare I say they're like Mr. and Mrs. Congeniality.
Well, yeah,
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Not only rookies of the year, also Mr. and Mrs. Congeniality.
Guys. No, so many people are my DMs, like not even like saying like date Horacio, they're like marry him. I'm like, okay, we're just friends. Like, it's funny. Everyone keeps asking like, have you guys dated before? Like, is that how you guys known each other or whatever? And I'm like, no. Like, yeah, I'm like, no. We literally. I don't think he even I don't even think he sees me that way, and I think I scare him. But as friends, we're good.
I love it.
I mean, what else can you guys? Obviously, you said like pay attention to the next part of the finale, but the reunion, you guys could not do anything wrong after this. Like,
don't you go jinxing them?
Yeah, I'm not trying to jinx you guys at all. Like, I guarantee you, again, how we got to this part when you didn't get the finale and you said like, well, the TJ goodbye, but it might happen, it might not, or whatever else. Like, the TJ goodbye is the biggest one, and I guarantee you guys, like, go on.
I actually don't. Sorry,
go on.
I actually literally don't remember if he said. I don't remember if he said like the goodbye or anything, or maybe they cut that out. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but is that what he does? Is that everyone?
Like, I'm sure we'll see. If he gives you, I know we'll see you soon type of thing.
Sure, we'll see you in the future.
See you in the future. That means that he's giving the producers like, I like these competitors.
Or like the compliments.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he
or
did
like
say
the compliments.
He did say to a producer, because they told me this, because obviously like I'm in the hospital, by the way, in Argentina. Mm-hmm. No one spoke English. I'm by myself, and the beds are set up like all next to each other. And so I'm like the only like girl. Everyone's just like, I don't know what they're doing, like on something. They're freaking me out. And I'm like, oh my God. And I looked so frail because we didn't eat in 2 days. And like, honestly, like, we just looked crazy. So I was in the hospital, and I had the security guard with me. He spoke Spanish, a little bit of English, and the lady was like, is she getting beat? Like, she thought I was getting beat in there because I had black eyes. And
Right.
like, is her boyfriend beat? And she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm not okay.
Like, it's fine. I'm just on a
thank
TV
you for
show.
asking. I know, but so they wanted to make me feel better. So they did say that, like, I guess TJ said that me and Horacio were his heroes, and I was like, that's so sweet.
That's like, I mean, the epitome of the stamp of approval from TJ. That's the best. Yeah. So I have some just random questions I've written down because I didn't want to ask you all the questions that everybody else asks you. I have just random questions about the show just because we've watched for so long, but we don't know behind the scenes kind of stuff. So what's the food like?
Disturbing. It's so bad. Like, honestly, okay, so on that show, I probably gained like 20 pounds because the only thing that we could eat that I liked or could even eat, because their chicken or their meats were like you can't even chew them. Honestly, it was like a challenge every day. But like, it was like, you know, like a fatty part of chicken that just doesn't chew. It was like the whole thing was that. And then everything else just was disgusting. So I would like snack on like the worst snacks and like eat like the Danishes and stuff. And I'm like, yo, I like watch the season progressively. I'm like, girl, you thick. I was seeing myself running the challenge in my butt. I was like, because I've actually lost 20 pounds. Oh, wow. I've lost 20 pounds since the final because I'm actually working out now. I never worked out. So now I work out and I actually can run now. I'm a runner.
So this was your whole like being a badass this season was just like this was just you like God-given, like not exercising regularly.
I mean, I'm built like taller and thicker. I don't know. Like I'm built like my dad's a lumberjack. You know what I mean?
God, that puts everything like, together when you're talking about all the kind of like survivalist things, like experiences with your dad. A lumberjack. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Like, so I mean,
so I think we're just like built different.
So would you go help him like cut down trees and stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, not as a teenager. I was like rebellious. Let's be honest. But yeah, as like a kid through maybe until like 14. Yeah, we go camping all the time. It was fun. It was fun for us to go cut sticks and trees. And now thinking about it, I'm like, my parents probably let us do that so they didn't have to, but we would do that. I mean, we would climb trees all the time like any kid would, but we would take it to extremes where we were climbing like insanely high trees or making our own zip lines as 12-year-olds, making our zip lines across trees, like so unsafe. Yeah, we'd go fishing and we would like fillet fish. I was like, 14? I would like cut a fish open, no problem. And we would like have contests for like $1. We'd like, whoever puts this fishball in their mouth the longest wins $1. And so obviously that's how I got competitive too. So I'd always win. Disgusting. It's my biggest flex. And then yeah, my dad has property down there, so it's like it's in rural Alaska. And so yeah, we built like cabins and we've gone boating. It's crazy. I mean, I also grew up on a mini farm. I had chickens and ducks and like every single kind of animal almost you can imagine.
What were the names of some of the chickens and ducks?
Yeah.
What were the names of some of the chickens and ducks?
Oh my God. We didn't name them because my dad would kill them.
That's a good point.
But we would have to wake up early before school and go to the chicken coop, feed them, get the eggs. And every time we got the eggs, they'd like peck our hands. I hated it so much. We had bunnies, which I loved the bunnies. They would like produce so many at once, like 40 at once. And then I'd walk into like the chicken coop to get the food, a different one than where they live. And I would just see a bunny just hanging from the ceiling. I was like, okay, way to start my morning. So like nothing grosses me out. Like I've seen everything. And also because my dad goes deer hunting, you can eat liver raw and you can eat hearts raw, technically, if you salt it the right way. And so, I mean, I've eaten, not that I liked it, but I have to make, because he's like, come on, try it. And I'm like, okay. So I've tried it. It's not what I would like, but that's what I thought an eating challenge would look like. Not this disturbing garbage. Now we get it.
Disturbing garbage juice. But when you said
now we get it. The disturbing garbage juice. But when you said like my dad would be proud, I was raised this way. Like, yeah, you really, you've been through some things. Yeah.
Yeah. I really have.
Did you happen to take anything from the house, like as a memento?
No, they're super strict about you not taking anything. I don't know why. Maybe because they'll think you'll sell it or something. But yeah, we can't take our jerseys or any piece of clothes. Not even like a sports bra or anything. Did I take anything? Trauma?
Got that.
That's a great answer.
An ex-boyfriend? I don't freaking know.
Let's see here. So you said you played contact sports. What is your athletics background?
I actually played soccer as well. I didn't really talk about it too much because I was not trying to be like, I played soccer too, because Rossy's over here doing freaking backflips with the ball. So I'm like, we're not gonna do that. But I played soccer. Actually, that's how me and Horacio got close too, because we talked about our experiences and stuff. And actually, like, I was really good at soccer. I loved it. And but things transpired in my, I guess, 20s, and I moved away from home, and I dropped out of college and everything. So I left everything behind just to start a new life. That's a whole other thing. So I kind of never pursued it. And then I also played tennis. So I was like a freshman playing varsity tennis. So I love tennis. Like, I'm good at like hand-eye coordination. Honestly, I'm good at most things, running. But now that's what I'm working on. So hopefully next season I can come back and I can run at least 5 miles without
sounds
stop.
like you're on the right track for that, for sure.
Sounds like you're
let's see here. If you could have like, if you had to pick somebody from the show to be your ride or die, a male or female, not Horacio, who would you pick?
If it's not him,
that's a great question.
Right? I would pick.
That's a great question, right?
Ooh, I know. Honestly, okay. So girls, I would definitely. Oh my God, I want to say 2 for both, but like, because like I don't know if I'm gonna base it off ride or die levels, right, or winning levels, but I'm guessing winning. Honestly, I would pick Doris as my girl ride or die. She's really good. I was so shocked. If you guys saw her in person, she was so tiny. I could not believe this girl was picking up the weight she was picking up. It's actually insane. And she's a good runner, and she also would never stop, just like me. So we would be good for each other.
I love that.
And we also are best friends outside the shop. So it's like, I would love that. And then for a guy, I would say I'll say Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Devin's good at everything, and he's hilarious, and he's fun, and he makes jokes. Like, he would make it, and because I was there for like 70 days. Like, it gets very grueling. So he's someone that always kept it fun. At the end of the season too, like, me and him would just hang out by the fire until like 4 a.m. Me and him. Everyone else would always go to sleep. And I was like, I don't want to go to sleep. I want to have fun. And so me and him would just be like up by the fire singing and just doing random things. So
awesome.
I would probably say him.
Great picks. So we're being told that we're getting close to time, so we don't want to go over and make you late for your next appointment. What am I doing now? Am I saying where we're following her?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question. Wait, I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Okay, so when the cast came out, do you all look at the cast before when they get out before the first episode? Okay. So when you saw the lineup, who truthfully did you think was going to be eliminated first?
This season?
Oh my goodness. Who did I think was going to be? Probably Kim and Colleen, because I was like, I don't know who these people are, and it didn't make sense, the casting.
Okay.
That's a go on.
Because
that's a great question, because we never met and talked about this. I'm old enough to know the very first Real World, and she wasn't watching it then, but we've been old enough to know all the Real World Challenge, and yes, we've talked about from the beginning all the things. Definitely it was Kim and Colleen from that. We're like, that's not going to happen.
It just didn't it was just so strange. It was kind of like one of these things is not like the other, because I think there were other people that had been originally cast, but it didn't work out. And so.
Yeah, there was a lot, actually. You know what? I was actually kind of like, I was like, how am I an alternate again? This is crazy. Because I saw, like you guys just said, some things just didn't make sense, because you would think like, oh, they're from a different season of Big Brother, so that could be just based on a show. You're going to connect with that person. They didn't really have anyone that they could connect with, so yeah, they would be outcasted. But technically, me and Horacio didn't either. You know.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, actually, I had Johnny, but Johnny and me were not like this. Like me and Johnny are friends, but so I guess I had a leg up in that way. So
we're watched the show long enough to know that rookies aren't going to go that far, so we're not going to put too much stock. Like if we're doing a draft, no, you wouldn't have been the number one draft pick, but that's what I said. That's why we give you the flowers of like what you guys have done.
It's incredible.
It's really seriously going to happen that you guys are coming back and you're going to be treated like veterans on your sophomore season. And don't get that sophomore slump. Do not do that. Because that'll upset me.
Do you hear him? Don't do it.
That'll upset me a lot because you've got a lot to live up to.
Yeah, I agree. I think that people have been messaging me actually about that, being like, I'm going to be a little bit I'm going to keep myself humble and be like, no, this is my rookie season. But I've had people message me and be like, you're a vet from this season, da, da, da. And I was just like, okay. I mean, I love, obviously compliments are nice to hear, but I'm just like, no, we're going to do next season. I'll count myself. I don't really know what the rules are of when you're a vet, but I'm just going to go and play a stronger game every single season. That's why the Amber situation, I'm just kind of like, I think you decide what you are. That's how I feel. And I'm like, I'm going to decide, I'm going to go in there and just kick ass, and you can call me what you want to call me, but I'm definitely, I'm going to do my best. And
can we talk game there? Like when you bring up Amber, like you decide what you are, like she never really fell either way. Did she decide what she was?
I think that, yeah. When I met her, instantly, she's just like, I feel like a rookie. So, she definitely.
So she feels like a rookie. She does not feel like a vet, even though she's won. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's I feel interesting. Like yeah.
It's. I think it's like be careful what you label yourself, because people will believe your label. So like if you're like, I never fit in with the vet, like automatically I now associate her with never fitting with the vets. She didn't have to be like that. And this is not about her. This is more of an example. But now I see her like that. So like I will be damned if I go on a season and just be like, I think the vets are going to throw me in. Like I'm not going to do
Can I ask you one more question? Do you think a line of like being a vet is being like when you give the toast? So like Nelly T's toast, is he a vet or is he still not there yet? Or does Johnny still get it because he gave the toast before the final? Like how does, like, I mean, that's a pretty good line. Like, if you can give the toast or not.
So toasts are a normal thing on every season?
Yeah.
So
no.
I'm so naive. I need to watch them. But
no.
I mean, I think someone else did another toast. I don't know, but maybe it is. I mean, people respect Nelson, I will say, as a vet, up to a certain point. I can see watching it because I sat back a lot, and I like to be fun and flirty and but I'm not dumb. I've watched everyone how they move, and I know exactly.
No, Nelly T's a vet. I'm just giving him a hard time for the toast. That's all. Like, and then, yeah.
The toast is god awful. We all can say that.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a vet. Yeah.
God, oh, he tried so hard.
No, he's definitely a vet. Yeah.
God, oh, he tried so hard.
Yeah.
I know. I forget these things. See, these are the funny moments I need to remember, because not even that, just everything, because yesterday was really heavy, obviously, for me to watch that, and I'm just like, oh my god. But then I'm like, I had so much fun. Like, I wish they would do an episode like they used to, because I do know that they used to do episodes where bloopers or whatever. There's so many that are hilarious, like people falling down the stairs, which is not funny, but it's kind of funny. Just like random things that happen, like falling in the fire, like burning my shoe, like just crazy things, and I wish they would do that, but I think they want the challenge to be a little bit more serious. So you kind of alluded to
like the second part of the finale, but were you at the reunion?
I was at the reunion. Oh yeah, I was there.
Good times?
Oof.
Did it get heated on set?
It's times. I mean, let's just say this. I would definitely not want to go redo that same exact situation. I was taken back by what transpired, so that's all I'll say.
Then let's take a few steps back, before you got invited into this, how many did you watch any of the challenge seasons before you got invited?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like when I got the call, I actually got the call. I was leaving, I think 3 or 4 days before I left. So I was like,
Oh, wow.
oh my God. And so I definitely watched because I was like, what am I getting into? But I didn't have enough time to watch all of them, because they're long seasons. I skipped some parts. But I watched Spies, Lies, and Allies. And then I watched the one before that, Double Agents. I don't know. I watched those 2, I think.
Yeah, so you,
like on the intense side.
You watched that, and you didn't watch the Johnny Bananas on the mountaintop with Sarah, and didn't realize like what you're up against. Like you just watch those, and you're like, "Oh, this seems fun."
Those don't seem fun. Those are like intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, oh my God.
Those are like intense.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Actually, I'm happy I watched those because I think it got me more prepared. Maybe, I don't know. I would love personally. I don't know what you guys like. Would love to be on teams. I think it'd be so fun, but I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, let's be honest. I think they're gonna do X's next. I just feel it in my blood, and if it is, I'm not happy about either of my exes that I have.
That's
to go
what
on
you think.
With,
you
so.
Don't think it would be the bloodline because that's what you want with your sister.
I mean, I put it out there a lot, and I love the producers, and I think they like me. But listen, who am I? So I don't know what it could be. I think it could be rivals. I think it could be exes. It could be something that no one's ever heard before. I mean, it could be anything.
Exes. I mean,
but do you have a rival? Do you have a rival? You guys don't have a rival.
You guys don't have a rival.
I think that I could be rivals with Annalise and Tommy, even though we're cool now. But like on the show, they betrayed our trust. But like that's not
it's gonna work. You nailed it. That's a spoiler. You've already, it really is. That's gonna happen. You nailed it. Yes, I know how producers work. You do too. Oh yes.
I know. No, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm curious.
I would be stoked if Annalise was my partner. If because I don't feel like me and Tommy would be as much rivals as me and Annalise, I guess, because like she's our roommate, whatever. But I'd be stoked if she's that partner. She's actually really good. I don't think that her or Tommy even got a good.
Olivia, I just want to tell you something. Season, we went from this hour of like me fanboying out to like I'm automatically like, oh, you've the producers are gonna do this. I talk to you like I'm sitting in a tavern. Like producers are gonna do it. You already know. Like I've known you forever. Like whatever. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say like, when the show first started airing, I obviously was like, oh my God, like what are people gonna say? Because I had, I was insecure about my ability on the challenge because I was just like, oh my gosh, like what are people gonna think, right? Even though I know how it played out, right? But I still was just, I don't like to get hate. No one does. So I was just kind of like, oh. So I would Google stuff, and that's how I found your guys' podcast. I think I watched an episode of the Hall Brawl or something, and you guys were just saying the nicest things, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I just want to say thank you though for supporting me. I really seriously like love it and appreciate it. It means the world to me, and like can't speak for anyone else, but
thank you. We're so grateful we had the opportunity to interview and talk to you today. Tell us where they can follow you on all the things.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at just my name, Olivia Ann Kaiser, and then Twitter it's Olivia Kaiser XO, and that's all I have. Oh, and TikTok, but Olivia Ann Kaiser too. I don't know. You don't want to follow me on there. A lot of thirst traps.
Wow, Olivia, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And if you didn't get it from TJ, we're sure we'll see you soon. You guys were great. You were great. Your partner was great, and you'll be back. And
I was telling wait, really quick. I was telling no, Horacio told me, he's like, if next season's exes, let's just pretend that me and you were secretly dating this whole time. I'm like,
yeah.
Yes.
I would be down.
If Bananas has that 20-year career, you guys will have it. You're that good. You nailed it. So yeah.
All right.
No, thank you.
So
you have a wonderful
evening. I really appreciate you guys.
No, thank you. You have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
It's a pleasure to talk to her. And Sarah, did a great job getting her here, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I mean, what more can we say about this?
We had a great time. She is a joy. It was amazing. Can't wait for you guys to check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments, and hopefully we get to do these again.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.